Hi, welcome to this overview. Someone who cares about you and your health have asked you to have a look at what we're offering. And we want people to basically rethink their health with our company, Youngevity. A little bit about me. So here's a little bit about me before I give you an overview of the company. My name's Darragh, that's a Scottish name. I was born northeast of Scotland in a fishing town and came here when I was 9. I ended up graduating in medicine in 1978, and I chose medicine because, when I looked at my career choices, I could have chosen, I was looking at law, dentistry, medicine, or vet, and I thought, well, for me it was exclusion. Well, law seemed boring. Dentistry, I couldn't imagine causing that much pain to people, and I've always hated, hurting people. And then it became down a choice between, do I choose to help animals or people? And I have more of a passion for people, so that's where I chose people. And the more I got into medicine, though, I really found that I got more concerned about what we're doing with people. I know we do some great things in medicine, and if you need medicine, I want you to know I'm not anti-medicine. I am pro looking after yourself, because there's certain things that we really didn't know what we didn't know over the last few decades, and that's obvious as to what's happening in our populations. And so I moved from medicine to more self-realization field. So those two pictures at the bottom are me in New Guinea, and then several years later with my wife Sally, we used to run seminars on personal transformation, things like that. And so I've been with nutritional companies since 1990 because I realized what a difference it just made to my own mind and body, my own feeling of well-being and my own sense of my mind being awake and working when I fed it things that weren't part of a regular diet. And so that's I've been passionate about people learning to take care of themselves. And so I was thinking I was doing all the right things, but that picture of me is in the hospital. I was getting I had cancer. I had one of my testicles off. I had testicular cancer. And so a couple of years before that, I started to get signs of inflammation in my body. I got blepharitis, I got rosacea, then I got the cancer. And then a couple of years after that, my blood fat started to go bad. And that's where, after 35 years of vegetarian living, and my doctor gave me a bit of paper that said eat less red meat and more whole grain, I thought something's really wrong here. So that's when I dived into a lot of the research and found out that fat wasn't really the big bad meanie. That's become quite obvious of late in the newspapers. But Dr. Joel Wallach, who I'll introduce you to in a minute, has been on the right side of that argument for 40 years. When all the doctors were going down the wrong track, this doctor was trying to make a stand for the right track. So if he can be right about that and make a stand for that for 40 years, what else can he be right about? And that's what this piece is about. There's something else that we've been led to believe, which is that you can get everything you need from a healthy diet. So as long as you get your diet right, you should be right. And what Joel really brings to the picture is we're not getting everything we need from a healthy diet, and those things we're missing are the actual essential minerals and nutrients that really lead to a healthy life. Now, this is Youngevity. We've got a number of products. The core of them is the 90 for Life, which we'll hear about, and I'm really just going to focus on that 90 for Life for this presentation. A little bit about us. The company was founded in 1997. Its global headquarters in San Diego. There's 3 headquarters in the US and 1 in Auckland. We're starting to go around the world. And our stock symbol is YGYI. You can go to ygyi.com. That's the main site for the investor information. And these are some of the principles. Those are Dr. Joel Wallach in the middle, his son Steve on the left, and Mary Lou Henner. A lot of people in my generation know Mary Lou Henner from Taxi. You may not have known that was her name. I'm not good at keeping names in my head like that, but it was interesting. She turns up here, and she's one of the principals of the company. And these people, the ambassadors and her, they're principals here not just because they're paid to do it. They're here because they believe in Joel's mission. And to give you an example of Theo Ratliff, he was an NBA All-Star with the Lakers. He blew out his knees in 6 years, I think, into his career, and the doctors and the coaches told him, "Well, sorry, your career is over, Theo. Can't do anything about it." Dr. Joel Wallach saw that news article and contacted Theo directly and had a chat with him, and said that he reckoned he could get him back on the court between the end of one season and the beginning of the next, just with nutrition. And Theo thought, well, what have I got to lose? And he ended up doing exactly what Joel said. He got back on the court, and he earned another. He played another. It's called work and play. What is that when you're playing basketball? It's he did another 10 years and earned another $60 million with his career there, just because of Joel's handiwork with nutrition. So doesn't that say something to you about what we've actually got our hands on here? Now, this is the founder, Dr. Joel Wallach himself. He has been on the outside of. He started off as like an agricultural scientist. He was a farmer's boy who realized, why aren't we feeding ourselves like we're feeding our animals? And then he became a soil scientist and learned that the soils really are depleted in nutrients. And then he became a vet, and that's where he found out that they're taking better care of animals than we're taking care of people. As he says, if you look at any dog formula. In the US, there's a whole bunch of minerals, like 20-something minerals, but if you look at an infant milk formula for infant humans, there's only something like 10 or 12. So we're feeding ourselves a lot, and there's big arguments about putting things in those things. So we're feeding people a lot less, adequately than we're feeding animals. And one of the simple reasons he talks about that, and I've got a vet I know here in New Zealand who says the same thing, that we feed animals well because we have to keep them healthy and get them to market. Whereas with people, we kind of can get by, and we can, live even though it's not living optimally. And the other side of that, is, I don't know whether it's sinister or just the fact that that's the economics of the pharmaceutical industry, that they prefer to have you on drugs, not just one drug, for the rest of your life. And the more drugs they can get you on for the rest of your life, the happier drug companies and the stockholders are. But that doesn't actually serve us as people, because we want to live long, healthy lives without disease. Now, he has fought and won the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, several times in the US. So he's little, but he is not a lightweight. He really stands behind what he says, like the issue about cholesterol. And a lot of people have heard the book or heard the CD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. A lot of people use that CD to promote their own products. Well, this is the real doctor's products and the real company. And he ended up becoming a licensed naturopathic doctor. That was after he was a vet. And there's a big story behind that, which I hope you hear at some point. But he basically started treating people like he treated his animals. And his patients very affectionately used to say that, he treats you like a dog, but you get better. It's just a little piece of, and what he's on a crusade. He really thinks the world needs to know about this. But him as a solo practitioner, he'd often do meetings he'd see like 150 clients a day, and they often have them all in groups for the different diseases they had. And he just saw that the diseases kept getting worse and worse and worse, and we needed a different way to educate people. So that's why he created this company. He surrounded himself with some fantastic scientific advisors, not least of which is Dr. Gerhard Schrauzer, the world's foremost exponent or expert in selenium. There's a great CD about that I would highly recommend. Now, it's interesting that in New Zealand we've been taught that, we've been thinking really that our high cancer rate is due to high meat intake and high dairy intake. But when you look at the idea of cancer and selenium, it's just an association. It's not proven. But basically, the countries with the lowest, the countries with the lowest selenium levels have the highest rates of breast, lung, colon, and prostate cancer. Now, isn't that interesting? Is there something there? That's something we all need to find out. But we can start taking advantage of things before we become a statistic. Dr. Wallach does give doctors a hard time, but he's not anti-medicine like me. I'm very pro just looking after yourself. And when you need medicine, you need medicine. And he even is married to a medical doctor, Dr. Malan, an MD. She was taught microsurgery in Harvard from China. Lovely lady. And he's also got other interesting people here, like Ben Fuchs. He's a pharmacist. Very interesting for a pharmacist to become a nutritionist. As he says, he couldn't in all conscience continue as a practicing pharmacist the way he was doing it, because he saw it wasn't helping people the way it needed to be helping them, rather than pretty similar to me in a way. Dr. Peter Glidden is a naturopath. Now, in the States, naturopathic physicians are able to, in certain states, deliver babies and prescribe drugs and perform minor surgery, very much like a GP here. So they're a different animal to, in terms of, a practitioner to the naturopaths we see in New Zealand. And so a bunch of different people, as you can see. Now, the challenge is really clear. You would have to be living under a rock to not realize we've had an explosion of disease, no matter how much money we pump into it. We've basically been teaching people the wrong information. We're starting to wake up to that. There's a core group of doctors that you'll hear more and more about in the news, saying that we thought fat was the baddie, but really it's sugar and everything that turns to sugar in your body. So, we basically pinned the tail on the wrong donkey. And we've finally, there's a big fight over it, and we're hopefully starting to get it right. As I said, Joel's been on the right side of that argument for the last 40 years. And but look, this is what it's created. You tell people to, eat what we've told them to eat, and look what's happened to the pre-diabetes. My GP is astounded at how much pre-diabetes he sees in his practice. And this is a statistic from the New Zealand Medical Association journal. 55% of the people in the 55 to 64-year age group have pre-diabetes. That is not a good look for the future for those people. Cancer is actually overtaken if you add up heart and cerebrovascular disease, so that's heart attacks and strokes through blood vessel problems. If you add up those, they're no longer the number one killer. Cancer is actually the number one killer in New Zealand. Isn't that fascinating, given what I just told you about selenium? In obesity, we're number 3 in 2011 in the world, and we're pegged to go up to number 2 when the stats are redone in November of this year. Not a good thing to be number 2 in at all. We love being number 1, we love the All Blacks to win, but this is not something we want to be number 1 in. Now, back to the real core issue. What I said, it's like we've been taught that if we eat a healthy diet, we'll be right. It's just a matter of figuring out what a healthy diet is. We know we've had that wrong because we've seen the results. We need to get that right, so that's part of what we teach people. And also we teach people it's not just what you eat that kills you, it's what you don't eat. It's about getting... Joel found there was basically 90 essential nutrients, actually 91, but 90, it started with 90 and it's got a better ring to it, so it's stuck at 90. So that's where 90 for life comes in. And you need these nutrients like you need oxygen. The body can't make these nutrients from whatever food you give it. So just like you need oxygen, just like you need water, you need these 90 essential nutrients to perform and live to your best. He's packaged these into some really simple things to have. The orange one there, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, that's a drink you have twice in the morning. It's a powder, you just mix it up in a whole bunch of water and drink it morning and afternoon. That's when I drink mine. The EFA pluses, that's essential fatty acids. Now we've seen a lot on the news about EFAs and about the controls not being there and the quality not being there in New Zealand produced EFAs. This is produced in the US. Nitrogen is in each capsule to stop them oxidizing, to expel the oxygen, and they have in them what they say they've got in them, and they've got enough of them. So that's a big thing. So you have that 3 times a day with meals. And then the Beyond OsteoFX, that's specifically for bones and joints. There's more nutrients in there for bones and joints basically, and that is best to have last thing at night, because often people have issues with sleeping. Calcium and magnesium really help with sleep. So that's the way I have mine. You can have that in the morning, but that's the simplicity of the 90 for life in its most modern form. There are younger forms of it as well. It's important to know that not all supplements are created equal. Most mineral supplements are actually derived from elemental minerals, and elemental minerals are only 8 to 12% absorbable. So say 10% absorbable. So that means 90% of what you're putting in your mouth just goes straight down the toilet. Not a good use of resources. So the thing is, though, that plants can convert elemental minerals into more usable forms. So it's getting it from plant-derived minerals. And this is a mine, it's called a mineral mine, and basically it's from seabed right through the dinosaur age, millions of years of things compacted down, protected from the environment with a layer over the top. And those look like solid rocks behind those people, but you can go stand there, pull them off with your fingers and pull the rocks apart and see imprints of leaves in there. That's how friable that is. And so that's where our minerals come from. And it's 98% absorbable. Compare that to 10% absorbable. Everything you drink goes into your body. And when it comes to getting results with products, absorbability actually means everything. You can put it in one end, it just comes out the other, it's done nothing for you. But if you put it into your mouth and then it actually gets into your cells, then that nutrition has a chance to create a result. Dr. Joel Wallach created a book. So Dr. Joel Wallach has a book in the Smithsonian Museum, that famous museum in the US, and he basically says it's called the diseases of exotic animals. And he says there's 900 diseases that are essentially nutrient deficiency diseases. And often when medicine doesn't understand something, they say it's a genetic problem. And then this issue of, you might have heard of it, called epigenetics came in, where epigenetics is that if the genes, how they express, which genes turn on and which genes turn off, depends on the environment they live in. And what determines the environment our cells and genes live in is the food we feed our bodies. So, whatever we eat and drink, it determines the environment our cells are in, which then determines which genes are turned on and which genes are turned off. Now that's a fascinating thing, because if you look at those 900 diseases, he says most of what we think is genetic disease is actually deficiency diseases. And if you look at bringing those 900 diseases into a human perspective, so the whole idea here isn't to cure disease, it's about feeding the body and supporting the body's structure and function so the body can better take care of itself. Now, there's several areas that we tend to have problems in, and that's the areas that all this condensed knowledge comes down to, is these 6 packs. And there's obvious which one you would choose for yourself. They each have the 90. See, you've each got their first 3 products, that are in the 90 Essential for Life, and they've each got 1 or 2 extra products for those specific tissues in your body. So if you have an issue with weight, then obviously the weight loss pack. If you have an issue with blood sugar, whether that's hypo or hyper blood sugar, then that's obviously the blood sugar pack. Athletic pack, people who sweat a lot, they're depleting themselves of nutrients, because it's not just water you sweat, it's the minerals you sweat out. So replenishing minerals for an athlete is even more important than for any other, for say a couch potato. So bone and joint pack, obviously you've got issues with your bones and joints, that's the pack for that. Issues with digestion, there's a pack for that. The brain and heart should really be the brain, heart and lung pack, because it's really about the soft tissues of the body. So if you've got any conditions in those areas, then you'll know that that's your pack. So it's really simple to just look at your own life. If you're essentially a healthy person, nothing else going on, then the 90 for Life, the Healthy Start Pack, is all you need by itself, or you may need one of these extra packs. Now in terms of budget, a Healthy Start Pack by itself runs at about $6 a day. And for some people that's beyond their budget, for some people it's well within it. It's great if you can, Joel recommends that for 100 pounds of body weight, so that's 45 kgs of body weight. So if you're 90 kgs, you'll actually need 2 of them, so then that all of a sudden becomes 12. And there are ways to work with your budget and your body weight. You can start from as little as $1 a day with just the minerals themselves. And the person that introduced you to this will help you figure out what is best for you, for your body, for what's going on, what you want to support your body to do, and for your budget. So you need to figure that out. It's too complex to do it here, and the people at the company can help you as well. So there's lots of help to help you decide which is the best way to go. Now, these are people that have taken on the Healthy Body 90 for Life Challenge just for weight loss. And we put this here because it's easy to see results for weight loss. And it's important to know that this isn't just a weight loss and then weight gain after the program. This is about not just a weight loss for now, but weight loss for the rest of your life. It's about transforming your whole life, not just to get to a goal and then it's all over and then you forget about it and go back to normal. No, this is about 90 for life, for you actually living, taking that challenge on for life to keep yourself as healthy as can be. And you can imagine that the same thing, we do say we compete on results, and if you can imagine those same results in terms of bones and joints issues, blood sugar issues, those other packs we talked about. If you can imagine we're getting those same kind of results for that, then that gives you at least a bit of a picture of what we're able to, what we actually see people, experiencing. when they try our products. And we do really highly recommend you take we call it the 90 for Life Healthy Body Challenge. And we want you to treat this like a challenge. Set your goal. What do you want to achieve in your health? Not just in the short term, but in the long term. Is it to lose weight? Is it to get fit or fitter, to gain energy, or to simply get healthy if you haven't been healthy for way too long? So choose your pack and then tell everybody. Why tell everyone? Well, one real thing is, particularly I think with weight as an issue, is that often we can make a goal. How many people have, made a New Year's resolution only to, by the time we got to Valentine's Day, what happened to that New Year's resolution? It was gone, right? So tell everyone what is going on. So there's two reasons for that. One is that you can get some accountability, and if a group of you getting healthy together will often help each other do the steps you need to take, rather than you just trying to do it on your own. So there's a real personal benefit and a group benefit in helping. We need to help each other get healthy and take that challenge, because as you've seen, the statistics are not good, and we aim to help reverse those statistics. That's our main crusade and mission really here. There's another benefit in telling other people that if you referred 3 people and they bought a healthy start pack within a month, then your next pack is free, and your friends have that same potential as well. So we really do want to focus on total wellness. Now, the one thing is for certain, if nothing changes, nothing will change. So we want you to make a decision, obviously, to try these products. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if your body just can't deal with them in some way, shape, or form, you can get your money back. But the key is to look at it. The 90 for Life is, your cells in your body take about the bulk of them take 90 days to regenerate. So I say give it a good 90 days, as long as you don't have a reaction to some of the products, and if you do, you can get your money back and try something that you may be less reactive to. And because we're all individual, and it's rare, but things like that can happen. So, but take the 90 days, and get that 90 for Life for those 90 days, because in 90 days you should get some observable results that you can experience, that you're looking for, and then you'll know that, hey, this really does work, and then the 90 days that then become the 90 for Life. So the key thing is, how important is your health to you? I hope you've decided it is important, because until you've lost it, then you really don't appreciate what it is. Keeping your self healthy is of paramount importance. And you may have a condition that you want improvement. What would it mean to you if you really did feel an improvement for that? Think about that. How would that be? Would that be worth it to take those extra steps? And how do you think doing those things will affect the years to come? Dementia is growing. It's now the 4th biggest killer. If you can do things to help your brain, essential fatty acids are part of that, and not get dementia, then hey, there's a surely that doesn't need answering. But so make a decision today. If you have questions, please get them answered, and try the product so you can start experiencing some different results from what you've been having, and experience your body as it was meant to be. Thank you for your time and attention. Get back to the person that introduced you and talk further about it. Bye for now.